Hey guys, so today we're going to be talking about acids and bases. Now, before we get into an experiment, what are acids? What are bases? Now, acids, they release hydrogen ions into an aqueous solution, while bases release hydroxide ions into a solution. Now, acids, they donate hydrogen ions, while bases accept hydrogen ions, and that's the biggest distinction between the two. That one accepts and one receives. And now, while following that, according to the Bronsted-Lowry definition of acid and bases, now a conjugate acid-base pair would consist of two substances that differ only by a proton or hydrogen, which makes sense considering that only one donates while the other receives. So here, with some background information, let's see what happens when we mix baking soda and vinegar together. So here we have baking soda and we have some vinegar and an empty water bottle. So the experiment is quite simple. I'm gonna just first I'm gonna try pouring the baking soda into the water bottle. Let me try my best. Okay, so it's a little bit more. All right, so that seems like a decent amount. Next, we're gonna take the vinegar and we're gonna pour it into the bottle. Um, let's see what happens. All right, so let's talk about what we just observed and what's going on. So clearly, based on our observation, we see that when we mix the two together, they start to react, and then there's definitely a chemical reaction going on. So as we saw some bubbling and some fizzing. But so here, our baking soda is sodium bicarbonate, and that represents our base, and uh, whereas the vinegar is also is acetic acid. That's apparently our acid. So when an acid and base react together, neutralization occurs. So for the baking soda and the vinegar, as you can see with the bubbling, a chemical reaction is occurring that um, produces carbon dioxide, and effervescence occurs due to the liberation of such carbon dioxide. Now break it down even more. So two things occurs when vinegar and baking soda are mixed. The first thing that happens is an acid-base reaction. Um, so in an acid-base reaction that's going on first, the hydrogen ions in the vinegar or the acid, they react with the sodium and bicarbonate ions in our baking soda or the base, forming carbonic acid and sodium acetate. Now, the second reaction is decomposition, and what's going on is when the first reaction that created the carbonic acid, they decompose into water, and they start to release the carbon dioxide gas, and essentially that releasing of carbon dioxide gas, when the carbon dioxide rises to the top of the bottle, as we saw, that's what causes the bubbling, all that bubbling that was really the much of the experiment. Conclusion: with an acid and base, or vinegar and baking soda, things that we can find in the kitchen, we are able to mix an acid and base and observe its reaction. And in summary, it's an acetic acid lending a hydrogen proton to the bicarbonate, And when the bicarbonate gains the hydrogen proton, as we talked about in the beginning of this video, it forms carbonic acid, hence that first reaction, which then eventually becomes unstable and then decomposes. And once that happens, you're just left with carbon dioxide, water, acetate, and some sodium ions. So with this, we are able to understand the nature of acids and bases. We understand how their interactions of protons work, and the resulting carbon dioxide as a product is what we are observing. And from that, we are able to grasp the concept of acids and bases.